Okay, so good afternoon and welcome to our weekly Yin class. So just checking in with props, like just having a blanket or two, some blocks or something that mimics yoga blocks, and either some stacks of pillows or blankets, like a comforter or something a little bit like larger than like the smaller blanket. And we'll start with a wide-legged forward fold today. So if you'd like, you can always sit up onto a block or onto a small pillow or blanket. That's just if you prefer to feel the stretch more across the back of the legs. Without the blanket, then you'll get a bit of a stretch into the low back. So up to you what you're looking for. But if you like, you can sit up and then just take the legs wide. They can be straight, or you can have a bend in the knees. You can always set up some pillows or blocks underneath the knees if that's something that feels more supportive. And then just simply take a deep inhale and lengthen the spine. And then just start to walk your hands forward. And just come into a wide-legged forward fold. Again, you can round the spine or keep the spine straight. Just experiment a little and see what kind of stretch feels like something that would help in your body today. And then as you settle here, just start to connect with the breath. Start to notice how you're breathing. Notice how you're feeling. Noticing all the different sensations in the body. You can do a bit of a body scan, just looking for areas of tension and tightness. Just notice any differences between the left side and the right side. Even notice places that might feel open and spacious. And we'll be here just for a couple of minutes. And then taking a clearing breath now. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale to sigh it out. And then slowly making your way out of the pose. And then finding a counter pose that feels supportive to you in your body. So your counter pose can really be any shape that you feel your body might need at this moment. If your body's asking for movement, know that you can move, right? If your body needs a bit of a stretch, stretch. So really it's just something to allow your body to remember the work and to rest. So then find your way back up to a seat and we'll set up for our next pose. So our next pose we'll do is a low dragon lunge. So if you have some blankets or pillows, you can set that up halfway down your mat towards the right side. If you don't have a pillow or bolster, that's okay. If you do want to use something to pad the knee, then you can always open up a blanket and then just set that up about halfway, just so that you've got some cushioning for the knee since we'll be holding for some time. So again, whether you have a pillow or an actual bolster, you can use that, but if not, you'll still get a really deep stretch in the lunge. So just go ahead and whether you've got that blanket for the knee or if you've got some pillows, again, set that up towards the right side. Have some blocks nearby towards the top of the mat. And then coming onto all fours with your knee or knees onto the blankets. So you're over towards the right side. And then step your left foot forward, coming in towards a lunge. If you do have a bolster or some pillows, you can take the right knee off and just shimmy the foot back a little further. And then once you feel a sensation of stretch, you can push your blanket or pillows back towards the foot and then just settle your leg back down. Again, if you don't have the pillows or blankets, you can always just shimmy your foot back. And then when you feel that sensation of stretch, just settle your leg down onto your blanket. If you have some blocks, you can use that to just support the arms. Or you can come all the way down onto the mat. And so just settle here into our dragon flying low. We'll be here for 2 minutes. And taking your clearing breath once again. Deep inhale now. And exhale to sigh it out. And then staying in your lunge, you can come up a little, you can come up onto the hands, or you can stack your blocks and still keep your forearms down. Start to walk your left foot out a little further towards the edge of the mat. Your left foot can be on an angle if you'd like, or you can take the foot towards straight, whatever feels better for you. And then you can start to let that left knee fall out to the side. And we'll come into a winged dragon. So option with the arms, you can stack some blocks and rest the forearms onto the blocks. You can come up onto hands if you'd like, or if you've got, you can always just take your forearms all the way down onto the mat. So again, take a moment, finding your shape, and then we'll settle here into our winged dragon. Now let's take a clearing breath here. Deep inhale now. And exhale, sigh it out. And take your knee back up. Walk the left foot back in towards midline. And slowly make your way out of this lunge. And finding your counter pose. Again, this could be any shape that your body's craving. Just something to allow your body to rest. And then finding your way up to a seat, and we'll set up for the other side. So again, if you've got blankets or a pillow for your knee, you You can set that up towards the left side of the mat, or you can just open up a blanket or have a small pillow just to cushion the knees, making sure you've got some blocks or some support near the top of the mat. And again, coming on to all fours, this time towards the left side of your mat. Step your right foot forward into a lunge, tucking your toes under, or the left toes under, and then just shimmy that left leg back so that you feel a stretch. And then once you find that stretch, lower the leg down onto your cushion or onto your blanket. And then we'll set up for the other side. So again, you can have some blocks. You can either stack them or take them at any height. And then just lowering yourself down and coming into our dragon flying boat. And we'll settle here for 2 minutes. And let's take our deep inhale together and exhale to let it go. And staying in the lunge, you can come up a little onto the hands or onto the blocks. And just start to walk that right foot out towards the side. Foot can be on an angle or towards straight. And then start to let that right knee fall out to the side. Again, you can stay up onto the hands. You can stack your blocks or settle back with forearms onto the mat. Coming into winged dragon on the other side. Again, we'll be here for 2 minutes. And let's take that deep inhale once again. And exhale to sigh it out. Start to take that right leg in towards you. Walk your foot back in towards the midline. Slowly make your way out of this lunge and find your way into your counter. Again, this can be any shape that feels supportive to you at this moment. And then make your way back up to the seat. And we'll set up for our next pose. So our next pose we'll do is shoelace. So with shoelace, again, if it feels better for your back, you can always prop yourself up onto a small pillow or blanket. Just if you're looking to get more of a stretch through the hips and legs as opposed to the low back. Having your props nearby once again. Let's come onto all fours. And then take your right knee in towards the hand. And then take the right shin over towards the left. You can tuck your left knee behind the right knee and then take the left shin towards the right side. And then sit back either onto your mat or onto your pillow. Okay. And then just start to work towards stacking the knees. If this is really, if this is too deep of a stretch, you can always extend the left leg out towards straight and then just work towards stacking the knees this way. So whichever option feels better for you, you can settle here. You can always prop blocks underneath the knees or legs if that's something that feels good. If you've got some blankets or pillows, you can set those onto the lap and then just fold yourself over. And then you'll just start to feel a stretch into the hips. Okay? Or you can just simply fold over the legs. And then once you find your shape, again, just start to settle here. We'll be here for 3 minutes. You can always do a body scan in your shape. Okay, just start to notice how one side might feel different from the other. Notice how you're breathing. Really trying to send breath through the whole body. And let's take that clearing breath here. Deep inhale. And exhale to sigh it out. Slowly and carefully finding your way out of your pose and making your way into your counter pose. And finding your way back up to a seat. And let's set up for the other side. So again, you can just have your props nearby. If you like having that pillow or blanket behind you, set that up. And we'll come back on to hands and knees. This time, let's take the left knee towards the hand, left shin over to the right, tucking the right knee behind the left knee, and then just start to sit back. Take a moment here just to notice if this feels okay for you and your body. Option, if you'd like to just lessen the stretch, you can always extend the right leg out and then just work towards stacking the left knee over top. So whichever option you're choosing for this side, and each side might be really different. Again, take a moment. Notice if you'd like some props to support the body. You can always use a block to support the hands or support the head. And then just start to fold over the legs. Again, we'll be here for 3 minutes. And finding your clearing breath once again. Deep inhale now. And exhale to sigh it out. And slowly making your way out of this pose and settle into your counter pose. And then find your way back up to a seat and we'll set up for our next pose. Our next pose we'll do is child's pose, but we'll add a shoulder stretch and we'll hold the pose for about 4 minutes. And halfway through, we'll switch sides as to which shoulder we're stretching. So if you'd like for child's pose, something to support the knees, just to have a bit of cushioning, you just set up a blanket, you can open it wide and then just fold it a few times and just set that up halfway down your mat. You can use a bolster or a block to rest the forehead onto, or you can take the forehead right down onto the mat. You can just have it nearby so that you can test it out. Take the toes together and knees come apart. Okay. Coming onto hands and knees. Let the knees slide out as far as you'd like. And then just start to sit back. And then let's start with sliding our left arm underneath the right so that the left palm is facing up. And then you'll slowly lay down into your child pose. So again, you can test out whether you'd like to have a bolster to rest the forehead onto, or if you'd simply like to take the forehead down onto the mat. And then we'll be here for 4 minutes, and halfway through, I'll cue you to set up to stretch the other side. And then let's switch sides. So just lifting yourself up, taking your right hand underneath the left with the palm face up, and slowly lay back into your child's pose. And let's take that clearing breath here. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale to sigh out the mouth. And slowly finding your way out of this pose. And once again, finding a counter pose that feels supportive and restful to you and your body. And then finding your way back up to a seat. So for our last pose of the practice, I'll give a few options. And if you just prefer to be in Shavasana and know that that's what will feel the best for you, you could always take Shavasana, use any props that you'd like to help you in your pose. I'm going to offer just sort of like a Shavasana, but with like the legs elevated. So if you've got a chair nearby, if you have a few pillows or blankets, you can stack them up and just take the legs just a little higher. If you've got some blocks, or even if you can stack a couple of pillows or blankets side by side, just so that you can take the whole like lower part of the legs elevated instead of just having the knees rest over. If you like, you can have a pillow and you can rest your head onto the pillow or blanket. Or the other option, if you'd like, you can always take legs up the wall. It's kind of similar to just doing this Shavasana with your legs supported. So however you're feeling, you'd like to take your final pose. Just start to settle into your shape. You can always just readjust your props. You can readjust, or you can even just take a different shape if you realize what you had thought isn't going to work. So again, if you've got a chair, you can take the legs right up onto a chair, so your legs would be more like towards a 90 degree. Take legs up the wall, or if you've got some props, just set them up so that you can support the full like lower half of the leg. Arms can come out to the sides with the palms face up. You can take the arms into a cactus or into a T shape. And then just settle into your final pose. You can do a bit of a body scan here. Start to notice how you're feeling. Notice what you sense. Start to notice what you might feel is different from side to side. Notice how you're breathing. You can even follow your breath. Follow it as it comes in through the nose. Follow it down your throat. Follow your breath as it fills up the lungs and fills up the belly. You can send your breath anywhere into your body, and then start to follow your breath as it leaves the belly and leaves the lungs, as it leaves back out through the nose. And start to deepen your breath, bringing awareness back into the body. You can wiggle into fingers and toes. You can make some circles with the ankles and the wrists. Roll your head from side to side, just gently waking the body back up. If you'd like to do a full body stretch, you can reach your arms out behind you. Take a deep inhale and stretch from fingers out through to the toes. And exhale to let it all go. You can hug your knees in towards the chest. If your legs are up the wall, you can bend into the knees. You can roll onto one side. And then when you're ready, finding your way back up to a seat. And thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. It's such a privilege and such an honor to share in this practice. And I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of the week. Namaste.